Hi, I'm Alan Ross, and we are at Distributech 2025. We've got interviews with thought leaders, and we'd love for you to see what we've done here. Hey, thanks for joining us. My next guest is Brandon Young. Brandon has got a company logo up there, and that's your company.
That's my company. That's our company.
Okay,
the team's
good.
company.
Excellent. We're going to get into the company a little bit, but let me start off with, how did you get in this industry? Why did you get in the industry? And just where your journey began to come to the point that you opened a company.
Wow. So I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Right.
Born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
Alabama Power.
Alabama Power, Southern Company.
Right.
You know, they keep the lights on.
Georgia Power.
And Georgia Power as well. So I grew up in that state, and I've always been fascinated with energy, electricity, and power, and fixing things and solving problems. And so in high school, I knew early that I wanted to go into electrical engineering from completing a research paper with my high school.
God bless you, Mike.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people, and then you went in the power industry.
Then I went into the power industry, yes.
Oh, wow. There's not a lot of people doing that. We're trying to get more people involved.
We need to get more people involved. So I did a research paper, completed that, and then my guidance counselor was a huge Auburn fan. Huge. And so I was playing basketball at the time. She knew that I wanted to go to college, and she submitted my paperwork and said, "You need to go to Auburn." Auburn gave me a scholarship. They accepted me first, and I was off to Auburn majoring in electrical engineering. And I knew then that this was destined for me. So I picked my curriculum. I knew the curriculum the whole time, and I graduated in that curriculum. And so I've always been a pretty smart mind. My mindset's pretty direct all the time.
Yeah.
I've been like that all of my career.
That's because that's why you went into engineering, right? They're problem solvers. They run to the problem, and the rest of the people run to, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay, get it.
I run to the motor, right? And you're running to the electricity.
I run into electricity at that time. So when I got into the curriculum, I understood and started learning more about power and how things work from a curriculum standpoint, but also learn how to build relationships nationally, because we have all demographics work at Auburn, attending Auburn University. We had to collaborate and solve some pretty strong problems to graduate. So once I graduated, I took an assignment at Savannah Riverside, working on a nuclear site. I worked for a guy by the name of Thomas Edison, believe it or not. That was his name.
You were kidding.
So I spent
no relation.
No relation at all. But I felt like he looked like the pictures I saw of Thomas Edison. So I'm interfacing, and I'm learning learning on this nuclear site at Savannah Riverside. I learned about safety, culture, structure, system engineering. But then I took an assignment to go to Atlanta to work for Burns & McDonnell as an electrical engineer entry level. Took a step back, but it allowed me to get to get to Atlanta, which is closer to home, as well as it allowed me to get into the power space quickly. And so I started doing performing design work for Georgia Power as an engineering consultant with Burns & McDonnell. And I learned so much about that industry at that time around design.
Yeah.
I was able to take my design expertise, and I took an assignment in New Jersey as an assistant project manager supporting a capital construction project. And so that opportunity came because I was in school at the time to get ready to go back and get my master's degree. And my employee team member told me that they had this big project going on in New Jersey. And I was like, why is this group in Jersey making more money than all of us engineers in the office here? Not from a salary standpoint, but making more money as a group.
So I got to ask you, engineers and leadership, okay? You've moved now from, and you saw it, you're here, but when you're consulting, when you're learning at Burns & Mac, what you're really learning is how to consult, how to ask the question, how to find out and how to speak to another level. You're speaking to a higher level. It's leadership, right?
It's leadership all the way.
And we don't see enough electrical engineers or mechanical engineers. We don't see enough engineers taking leadership positions. Talk a little bit about that. How did you get to that point? And you left Burns & McDonnell at some point.
Yes, I left Burns & Mac at some point. So how I got to that point, how I got there was, once, I'm the middle child. I've been leading people all my life, I guess. I led my older brother, my younger brother. And so those things were kind of already inherently in me. But I would say that me being an extroverted engineer played a big role in that. And so I was always able to understand big picture And even in the roles that I played at the lower level, I always had this sports approach to where I wanted to be the sixth man that came off the bench to be the best player to solve the best need or whatever that value need. If it was RFIs, I'm going to do it to be the best at solving, doing RFIs and performing RFIs. So that leadership trait has been inside of me. But once I got into engineering, I realized that a lot of people around me don't like to communicate, or they more so they love fixing the problem, but they don't want to communicate how they fix the problem or even that there is a problem. They just want to go fix it. And so me having a personality that's open-minded and able to build relationships with all groups allowed me to really step in to solve needs and solve problems. And that's how I grew into my leadership, was by finding ways to add value.
That's a collaborative process, and the industry is just now learning collaborative. Because you're right, there's a lot of insular things. That's been the utility industry for 100 years. It's changing rapidly. Talk a little bit about that. You've been in it long enough now to talk about what's happened in the last 5-7 years to bring us as an industry focus on utilities. Where are they right now?
So right now, utility industry is our business. In 2019, December 2019, when I first got our first utility opportunity, and that was a byproduct of me losing my brother in 2019.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It gave me a different drive and a passion to really want to take on entrepreneurship, as well as solve problems of the industry, but also bring some humanism back to our industry as a whole in terms of the American society, not just utility, but the world in terms of what leaders look like. So when I look at the industry as from 2019 to where it is now into 2025, there's a lot has changed. We had COVID that came and gone. We had issues of George Floyd that came and gone. We've had different leadership in terms of government presidents. And so, and our industry has continued to need to become more reliable and more affordable in how our customers, and which is their customers, look at the market. So you have data analytics that is playing a big role in some of the decision-making tools here. You have AI, you have DERMS technology that is also a big talking point. And you also have things around how do we spend this dollars quickly to make sure that our grid is reliable for the customers that get it every day. And so that's a lot of the challenges I'm seeing right now in the industry. And what I've also seen is that the talent that's in this space right now is retiring faster than new talent is coming in.
Right.
And that's a huge challenge for companies that want to continue to execute these large scale projects in a time manner that they want to get those projects done. So there's billions and billions of dollars to spend from all these different organizations. And we all are trying to figure out how we're going to get this done and how we're going to become instant experts for things that are very new.
Right. The need is this really interestingly. This is, as I said, an insular industry for the most part. And it seems like that period suddenly brought people out that are saying, hey, we need somebody to look at and help us, right?
Yeah.
That's what a consultant does. They look at a problem and say, here's what you ought to do. I have heard this event at Distributech 2025, DTech. Utilities want to know what the outcome is going to be. What is the outcome of what you do as a company? I see it more and more. They're not just buying stuff, they're buying outcomes.
Yes.
And of course, there's the big three, Hitachi Energy, Siemens Energy, GE Vernova. But the tier 2 people out there have great ideals, great innovation, right? There's more innovation.
That's your job. As a smaller player in the market, your best value add is innovation. Yeah. And that's what the larger companies want you to do. And also large corporations, the owners, the IOUs, they are actually pushing for collaboration. They're collaborating with each other, and they're pushing for their partners and vendors to collaborate as well, because we can do things quicker than larger organizations can, or we should be able to. And I believe in an industry, if you don't innovate and you don't remain agile, you won't be able to remain supporting this industry, because we need each other to get what we need to get done.
There's well said. There's a point of resistance.
Yes.
And that point of resistance is you've got companies like Burns and Mac and others that have been around a long time. They do a lot of consulting. You're trying to break into that. You're trying to do it. Tell me how you're going to do it. Tell me about the company.
So our company, Young Management Consulting, we provide project management, construction management, technology services. We break into the industry by solving real problems and real needs. When you hear consulting, most think that they can show up and solve the next problem. Well, if you have not worked in that system and don't understand that utility customer, your chances are you solving that problem is very slim. You're going to get a short-term solution for a very short-sighted vantage point. And so how our company solves problems is that we have hired, I've hired in the construction area, I've hired journeyman linemen and convert them to management roles, train them up on how to execute, deliver project management processes as a construction manager. And also they're relatable to the crews already, but they just need someone to train them up a little bit on how to be polished and communicate and be a leader. And so that's one way we've done that. We've hired veterans as well. They have the structure in place already. They just need a little guidance on how to navigate those projects. And then with our big customers, other work we're doing on the PMO and technology side, we're leveraging technology to drive our project management solutions. So we have data-driven solutions that are actually allowing for utilities to understand where their cost is, how to bring all these systems together to talk to each other so they can make decisions quicker and faster within their organization. And the last thing we're doing, we're leveraging AI. We created a PMO solution that showed that you can create scopes of work, proposals, and get these scopes of work created instantly with the use of automated artificial intelligence. And that's awesome because now the time it takes to your procurement cycle will be shortened, as well as the time it takes to do bid scopes out to your other contract crews can be shortened because we have a tool that captures change orders, lessons learned, all project scopes, and we can get those things created instantly, whereas it could take a week or 2 weeks before you can get those things created.
Part of the reason that you're going to be successful is the utilities have lost so much really smart people. They've retired, the graybeards are out, and there has not been an influx of people coming in to solve the problems. And you need to know where the industry is, but where it's going.
Yes.
You know, what's it going to look like? Wayne Gretzky, greatest goal scorer of all time, right?
Yes.
And they asked him, Wayne, why do you score so many more goals than anybody else? He says, because they skate to where the puck is, and I skate to where the puck is going. Sounds like you're skating to where the puck is going. So where is it going, and where are you going as a company?
So right now, I think you first need to start with the people. It's all about people and making sure people that want to be in this industry, and also taking talent from other industries and converting folks over by giving them the context of the industry. But where the puck is going right now is AI is coming, it's here. What we're seeing right now is that there's so many individuals that are AI experts, and we're still trying to figure out how AI is even going to be used. And so one is, how do we properly leverage technology as we need it and bring it all together?
Right.
Two is, how do we do, there's traditional ways of doing business that don't need to be innovated. Traditional linemen, construction practices, and hand tools are key. And so how are we leveraging the resources we have in our country to grow that talent pool to execute some of these projects in a traditional way from a constructability standpoint? And then three is innovating the processes that we have in place. The roles that are lower level, junior level roles that don't require any thinking, those are jobs that are going to go away. But it's going to be a new set of jobs that are going to be there that's going to allow us to continue to bring value to those utilities. So how can what I see is that utilities have a pipeline of how they're executing business right now. Many of them need to open up another pipeline to get business done, and they need businesses like ours to partner and grow from a scalability standpoint so that we can tackle the work for the next 2 years. And so I see more collaboration, less competition. And my motto is that you can coexist in success in this industry because there's so much going on. And then we proactively work to find solutions as a industry, we're going to get to where we need to go a lot faster. So I see the industry being a lot more collaborative, a lot more open to how we share information, as well as attracting other industry experts. If you're a project manager in roads and bridges, you're going to see those folks coming over to start executing projects in electric utility as well.
Okay. You said you took somebody, I think he was a lineman, and now you turned him into a project manager.
Many.
Okay. And that is both an art and a science. That's a leadership art, and it's leadership science. Talk a little bit about that, your principles of leadership.
My principle of leadership, first, having integrity, transparency, having a understanding of meeting people where they are at all levels, whether they are, you greet how you treat the waiter, is how I measure you versus.
That's how I hire somebody. I see how they treat the wait staff, and if they're ignoring them, right? You're going, okay, well, you're not really that.
Everyone's valuable, and everyone has. Our business expanded to Abu Dhabi and Dubai because I had a team member that was hired to work for a customer, and the client decided to pull back on that project. And this individual had so much experience that was being overlooked. I simply asked him, "Who do you know and where are you from?" His relationships ran deeper. He just did not know how to use those. So how do I do that? Is I see things in people and provide opportunities where they may not have been traditionally provided. Now, if you look at the industry 5 years ago, everyone was hiring construction managers that had to be a civil engineer or someone graduated school.
Yeah.
I have 120 employees, and I would say the majority of my construction managers did not go to college, but they went to college of hard knocks. They worked in the field, they built relationships, they made it to their late 40s and mid 50s, and they want to be on their last 10 years of their career. They are the best team members to go and execute projects, and they get paid just as if they went to a construction management school.
You know, Brandon, you are going to be successful. I know you are, but you could blow the socks off because the need for what you do and how you do it is great. I mean, it's just growing every day. I said,
care about the
skate
people.
to where the pup is. Yeah.
I care about people. I care about industry, and that's going to be a byproduct of revenue. I measure by impact and value add, not about revenue.
Right.
Primarily, we need revenue to drive business. But if you treat people well and you're good to the industry and solve real problems, you're going to have a place in a business. And I think most people get into business think the world is to get rich, and I work for myself. No, you work for your employees and your customers.
Yeah.
It's a new way of looking at life, and I took on that challenge to really want to become a industry leader for our time frame and our generation.
That's excellent. You're a great spokesman for what you do, and it needs that. You're gonna, people are looking for what you do, and too many times they go the easy route because the industry is now kind of collaborating more. However, it's still to a certain extent a Me Too industry.
It's the 100%.
Yeah.
And I also think that the amount of the leaders who have industry context that understand this industry are shrinking. Private equities are buying them up.
Yeah.
They're rolling up, and it's becoming a revenue, how fast I can scale up and roll up model. And that's nothing wrong with that if that's the business model. But when you look at someone like myself who has industry experience, has context to employees, can still get my hands dirty as well as go to the boardroom, I think that is very limited. And so our strategy for our company is that we're going to show the retirees who are leaving this business to us that it's going to be left in a better place now that they're gone. And I think that is shrinking so much, and we need more leaders that have context that care to drive us forward.
Find it better than you found it.
Yes.
And that's what I tell my kids who are in their 40s. Make it better than you found it, whatever it is, right?
Whatever it is.
Yeah. If it's your backyard that needs cutting, make it better.
I agree.
Whatever. Last question for you. If I were a CEO, okay, at a pretty high level,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm the chief engineer. Maybe I'm not the C level there because they're usually business.
Yeah.
They're up here. But those engineers that have made it and they made the breakthrough and they're running pretty large systems, they're going to respond to you as a double E, as an engineer, differently than they would might respond to me as an engineer, but not like they'd respond to you because double E's are unique.
And
right?
Sparkies.
Yes, exactly.
You can call me weird if you want to call me
weird. Okay, you're Sparky.
So.
Yes, exactly right. But there is kind of a brotherhood of that, and getting more double E's into school, getting the power because they want to go to electronics and robotics
and work at the Army Defense. Yes.
So make the pitch to me for why I ought to use the young consulting management. Don't worry about what project it is. It's something in your wheelhouse. Make your pitch to me. What's your outcome? Best outcome for me.
At the end of the day, you can go get the service that I offer anywhere. But the relationship I'm going to bring to you, the trust that I'm going to bring to you, the passion that my people are going to have behind the work, that's invaluable. People work with people they like and people they can trust. And that's going to be a super value add to us as a company. Secondly, we're going to be agile and we're going to have the ability to be flexible. As we all know, plans change, scopes change. But most companies do not want to adjust when engineers don't adjust well.
No, they don't.
We are reluctant to change. With a company like YMC, we're going to be agile because that's the key to staying relevant. And so we can shift the plan. And you say we want to go this direction, we can go that direction. But not only that, we're not going to sit and follow a process if it doesn't make sense.
Right.
We need to bring value added engineering to solve these problems. So when you get with young management, our biggest goal is we want to make your life easier and solve your problems. And your problems can be a multitude of things, but we're going to bring you solutions and be really flexible at doing that. But ultimately, we're just good people. We care about our industry. And you know that your dollars being spent is an impact on the world. And when you look at, I have high school interns right now working at my company. They're getting ready to go to college. That's unheard of in some places.
Right.
And they're working on real project work right now, and they're doing things every week. So having a company that you know that's impacting the community as well as the industry is invaluable to the work that we do as a company.
That's very well said. You're using YMC as the brand?
YMC is the brand.
I like that.
Young
And I like
Management
that logo
Consulting.
that you got from YMC.
Thank you.
Brandon, you heard it here. So thank you, Guy. And I want to do this more, and I would love for you to participate. We do two things. We publish fact. We do like technical articles. That's fact-based. That either is or isn't true. We're beginning to publish more and being asked to publish more perspectives. So I'm going to ask you on camera, you want to be you got to, if you say yes, you have to do at least 2 a year. We do 10 issues. And a perspective is about 600 words on any topic that you want to talk about in the power industry.
Listen, I will do whatever to support what you have going on.
Thank you.
We got to make this industry cool. And we
That's
need to
what
make
I
this
want you to
industry
do.
exciting.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to understand what we're doing. And also, it's not a bunch of old folks in the industry.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
No offense to anybody that's older, but right now, our generation has to step it up. Right now, if we're in a phase right now where leaders of myself that are in their late 30s, 40s, we can actually do something that we don't like. And we can change things immediately. And so right now, thanks. What you're doing is exciting because I have not seen many of these opportunities to share stories, to make this industry cool. But I can go on that social media right now and see how to flip a house and make $1 million tomorrow, which is probably not going to happen. So we got to do something. This is a real industry that has real impact and a real need that we need to get more people here.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's been great to meet
I'll
you.
sign up on camera.
Okay.